What happens when an undercover CEO witnesses his employee getting fired for an act of kindness? The truth that unfolds shocks everyone. The bell above the entrance jingled as a chilly gust swept into the Brightmart retail store. Shelves were lined with everything from cleaning supplies to kids' toys, and the faint sound of pop music played from the speakers overhead. The afternoon shift was in full swing. Near the front counter, Maya, a slender young woman in her early 20s with tired eyes and an unmistakable air of determination, was neatly restocking a display of snack bars. Each movement was careful, precise, as if this small task mattered far more than it should have. Behind her, the store manager, Jason, paced like a restless hawk. He was tall, stocky, and wore his press shirt a little too tight. His gaze locked onto Maya, scrutinizing her every move. "Pick up the pace," Jason barked, voice sharp enough to make Maya flinch. "We're not paying you to play with granola bars." "Sorry," Maya muttered, stacking faster. Her fingers trembled slightly. In the corner of the store, Evan, a man in his early 40s wearing a faded hoodie and jeans, browsed the aisles. He introduced himself as a traveling warehouse worker, but in truth, Evan was Evan Brooks, CEO of Brightmart, here to see firsthand how his stores were being managed. He noticed the tension in Maya's face, the nervous way she kept her head down. Something about the dynamic between her and Jason unsettled him. Moments later, a shivering, disheveled man in an oversized coat stumbled inside. His hair was matted, and his face was raw from the cold. He wandered toward the checkout counter, pausing beside a display of instant soups and crackers. Maya's gaze flicked up, and her face softened. Quietly, she slipped from her station and approached the man. "Sir," she said gently. "Are you okay?" The man barely looked at her. I just need something warm," he mumbled. Maya's eyes moved to the display, cans of soup and cup noodles, and then back to the man. He had no cart, no basket, just empty hands stuffed in his ragged pockets. "Wait here," Maya whispered. She hurried to the back room, returning moments later with a small paper bag. Inside were a few instant soup packs and a bottle of water. She pressed it into the man's hands with a small smile. "Take care of yourself, okay?" she said softly. The man's eyes glistened. Thank you so much." But before Maya could return to her station, Jason's voice cut through the air like a whip. "What do you think you're doing?" Jason stormed over, his face flushed red. Customers glanced up from their shopping, sensing the confrontation. "I was just—" Maya began. "You gave away merchandise?" Jason's voice climbed. "To some bum off the street?" He looked like he hadn't eaten in days, Maya tried to explain. "It was just a few cups of soup." "I don't care if he looked like Santa Claus. That's stealing." Jason jabbed a finger at her. "You want to start handing out free stuff like you own the place?" "It wasn't like that," Maya insisted, her voice trembling now. "He didn't ask me for anything. I couldn't let him go hungry." "Oh, so now you make the rules." Jason's face twisted into a cruel smirk. "Guess what? You're done here." Maya's breath caught. "Wait, what? You're fired." Jason crossed his arms. "Get your stuff and get out." Tears welled in Maya's eyes. "Please, I need this job. I'm just trying to—" "I don't care." Jason cut her off coldly. "Maybe next time you'll think twice before playing." "Hero!" Maya stood frozen, disbelief washing over her. She turned toward the break room, shoulders slumped in defeat. From across the store, Evan's eyes hardened. He set down the can of soup he'd been pretending to inspect and stepped forward. This wasn't over. The store's back room was a cluttered maze of shelves stacked high with boxes. Maya sat on an overturned crate, head in her hands. Her eyes stung from unshed tears, and her mind raced. How could she have been so careless? She had only wanted to help that man, and now she was out of a job. "I shouldn't have done it," she muttered to herself. "I should have just followed the rules." Suddenly, a shadow darkened the doorway. Maya looked up to see David, her manager, standing. there with arms crossed and a smug smirk on his face. "I told you," David sneered. "You're not cut out for this. Can't follow simple instructions. Can't keep your emotions in check." "I was just trying to help," Maya whispered. "He didn't have any food, and it was about to be thrown away." David scoffed. "That's not your decision to make. You think this place runs on charity?" He took a step closer, his voice lowering. "Face it, you're too soft for this job. Honestly, I did you a favor." Maya bit her lip hard, refusing to let him see her cry. "I was just trying to do the right thing." "Well, next time, stick to doing what you're told," David shot back, before turning and striding away. Maya felt the walls closing in. She had no idea how to tell her mother she'd lost the job. They barely had enough to get by as it was. Her chest tightened, panic threatening to overwhelm her. "Hey," a voice interrupted softly. Maya turned to see the man from earlier, the homeless man she'd tried to help. He stood hesitantly in the doorway, clutching a worn-out jacket to his chest. I just wanted to say thank you," he said quietly, "for what you did back there." "I got fired," Maya said flatly. "I'm sorry," the man replied, "but you did something good. Don't forget that." Maya tried to smile, but her heart felt too heavy. "Thanks," she murmured. Moments later, another figure appeared. The man from the store earlier, the one who'd been browsing the shelves. Only now he wasn't dressed like a customer. He wore a crisp button-down shirt, and the name badge clipped to his chest read, "Eric Donovan, CEO." "Maya?" he asked gently. Maya's breath caught. "Yes?" "I saw what happened out there," Eric said, stepping inside the room. "I know David fired you." "I'm really sorry," Maya blurted out. "I just thought the food was going to waste, and he looked so hungry." Eric held up a hand to stop her. "Don't apologize." His gaze softened. "What you did was kind, and exactly the kind of compassion this company needs." Maya blinked, unsure if she'd heard him correctly. "Wait, what?" Eric smiled. "I'm the CEO of this company," he said, "and firing someone for showing empathy, that's not how we do things here." Maya's heart raced. "So, does that mean I'm not fired?" "You're not only not fired," Eric said firmly. "I'm promoting you. People like you, people who care, they're the ones who deserve to lead." Maya's hand flew to her mouth. "Are you serious?" Eric grinned. "Completely. Now, let's go have a talk with David." Maya followed Eric down the narrow hallway, her pulse pounding in her ears. For the first time that day, hope replaced her fear. And David, he was about to face a conversation he wouldn't forget. The retail store's afternoon rush had ended, leaving aisles partially empty and shelves slightly disorganized. Maya moved quickly, restocking a display of snack items while trying to keep her mind off her confrontation with David. The tension lingered, her stomach tight each time she glanced toward the manager's office. In the break room, Ethan sat quietly, still disguised as a new employee. His mind replayed the scene with David. The cold dismissal of Maya's kindness and the way her voice cracked when she explained why she'd helped the homeless man. Ethan knew this wasn't just about store policy. Something deeper was at play. Moments later, David emerged from his office, eyes scanning the store like a hawk. He walked briskly toward Maya. "Hey," David barked. "You restocked that display yet?" "Almost," Maya answered, tucking a bag of chips into place. "Almost?" David scoffed. "You've been dragging your feet all afternoon. No wonder you've got time to hand out freebies." Maya's shoulders stiffened. "I'm just trying to do my job." "Yeah?" David sneered. "Then maybe stop pretending to be a hero and actually do it." Ethan clenched his fists but forced himself to stay calm. He needed to see how far this would go. A customer, a woman in her 50s, walked toward Maya's display, picking up a few snack packs. She smiled warmly. "You're always so helpful, dear," the woman said kindly. "Thank you for keeping this aisle tidy." Maya gave her a grateful smile. "Just doing my best." David's face darkened. "Oh, don't encourage her," he snapped at the woman. "She's been slacking all day." The customer's smile faltered, and she walked away quietly. Maya's face reddened, but she bit her tongue. "You just keep embarrassing yourself," David muttered, under his breath. "It's pathetic." Ethan had seen enough. He strode forward, planting himself between Maya and David. "I think you should back off," Ethan said, voice low but firm. David turned on him. "And who are you to tell me how to run my store?" "I'm someone who doesn't like bullies," Ethan shot back. "Bullies?" David scoffed. "I'm holding my employees accountable by humiliating them, by treating them like trash." Ethan's voice rose slightly, drawing the attention of nearby customers. "You think that makes you a leader?" "You don't know anything about leadership," David spat. "You're just some part-timer." "Maybe," Ethan said. "But I know this. Maya's done nothing but work hard today, and you've been riding her since the minute I walked in." David's eyes narrowed. "You want to join her? Keep pushing me." "Maybe I should," Ethan replied coolly. "Because if this is how you treat your staff, you're the one who shouldn't be here." David's face twisted with anger. "That's it. You're both fired." The store went quiet. Customers watched from a distance, whispering among themselves. Maya's eyes widened with shock. "You can't just fire people because they stand up to you," Maya said shakily. "I can do whatever I want," David snapped. "Now get out before I call security." Ethan took a step forward. "Actually, you can't." He reached into his pocket and produced a sleek black wallet. Flipping it open, he revealed his ID badge, one that read, "Ethan Cole, CEO." David's face turned pale. "Wait, you're—" "That's right," Ethan said coldly. "I own this company, and you've just made one of the biggest mistakes of your career." "Sir, David's voice faltered. "I was just—" "Stop!" Ethan's voice was sharp. "I watched everything. The way you belittled Maya, embarrassed her in front of customers, and tried to fire her just for showing compassion. That's not just bad leadership. It's unacceptable." "I didn't mean to." "You meant every word," Ethan interrupted. "And you're done here. Effective immediately. You're terminated." David's jaw dropped. "You can't be serious." "I'm very serious," Ethan replied. "Go clean out your office, now." David staggered back, speechless. As he turned to leave, customers quietly applauded, some whispering words of support. Maya stared at Ethan in disbelief. "You're really the CEO?" "I am," Ethan said with a smile. "And I've got something else to tell you." Maya's eyes widened. "What is it?" "You're not just keeping your job," Ethan said warmly. "I'm promoting you." "Me?" Maya gasped. "But I've seen everything I need to see," Ethan said. "You stood up for what was right, even when it cost you. That's the kind of leader I want running my stores." Tears welled in Maya's eyes as she stammered, Thank you so much." "Don't thank me," Ethan replied. "Thank yourself." As Maya stood speechless, the customers clapped again, this time louder, stronger, as justice finally felt served. The sun had set by the time Ethan returned to the retail store the next day. The chill in the evening air seemed fitting. The tension from the previous day still lingered in his mind. He walked in through the automatic sliding doors, dressed, plainly, blending in with the evening crowd. His gaze swept across the store, eventually landing on Maya, who was restocking shelves in the far aisle. Her movements were slower than usual, her shoulders hunched with worry. Determined, Ethan headed straight to the manager's office. Inside, Lucas leaned back in his chair, feet propped up on the desk. He scrolled through his phone with a smug expression, clearly unconcerned about yesterday's ordeal. Ethan rapped his knuckles against the doorframe. Lucas barely glanced up. "We're closed soon. Come back tomorrow." "We need to talk now," Ethan replied, stepping inside and closing the door. Lucas gave him an incredulous look. "You're that guy from yesterday, aren't you?" "I am," Ethan confirmed, his voice calm but firm. "And you should know, I'm not just a customer." He reached into his pocket, pulled out a leather wallet, and flipped it open to reveal his company ID. Lucas's face paled as his eyes locked on the name, Ethan Caldwell, CEO. Wait, you're the... Lucas trailed off. Yes, Ethan said coldly. I own this store, and now we need to have a serious conversation. Lucas fumbled for words, but Ethan cut him off. I watched you humiliate Maya yesterday, Ethan began. I watched you berate her in front of customers and worse, fire her for showing compassion to someone in need. Lucas sneered defensively. That girl broke policy. We don't give away inventory for free. It's called theft. You know that man she helped, Ethan shot back. He was a homeless veteran, a man who risked his life for this country and now has nowhere to go. And Maya didn't just give him food. She paid for it out of her own pocket. That wasn't theft. That was kindness, Lucas scoffed. Rules are rules. If you bend them once, you open the door for people to walk all over you. Ethan shook his head slowly. No, Lucas. If you treat people with compassion, you inspire loyalty. Something you clearly know nothing about. Lucas's face twisted with frustration. I was just doing what needed to be done. No, Ethan countered. You were power tripping, and that ends now. Lucas stood abruptly. You can't fire me. I've been here for years. I keep this place running. I'm not firing you, Ethan said evenly. You're being demoted, effective immediately. You're no longer in management. Lucas's face turned crimson. You can't do this. I just did, Ethan replied, walking past him and out the door. Ethan found Maya near the checkout lanes, folding a stack of shirts with mechanical precision. She barely noticed him approach. Maya, he called softly. She looked up, her eyes widening. Oh, I didn't expect to see you again. I wanted to talk to you, Ethan said gently. Can you take a break? Moments later, they were seated in the break room. Maya clasped her hands together tightly on the table. I wanted to say thank you, Ethan started. What you did yesterday, helping that man. It was the right thing to do. But I lost my job because of it, Maya said quietly. Not anymore. Ethan smiled faintly. You're not fired. In fact, he paused, watching her anxious expression. I want to offer you a promotion. A promotion? Maya blinked in disbelief. You have the compassion and integrity this store needs, Ethan explained. I want you as our new floor supervisor, someone who leads with kindness and inspires the team. Tears welled up in Maya's eyes. Are you serious? Completely, Ethan assured her. You earned this. Maya gave a tearful smile, her shoulders relaxing for the first time in days. Thank you. Thank you so much. A week later, Maya stood confidently behind the counter, now wearing a name badge that read, Floor Supervisor. She greeted customers, warmly, stepping in to help employees when they needed guidance. The atmosphere in the store felt lighter, more welcoming, and even customers seemed to notice the change. Ethan visited quietly that afternoon, watching Maya from a distance as she chatted with an elderly couple near the registers. You made a good choice, an older employee murmured from beside him. Maya's got a good heart. This place feels better already. That's the goal, Ethan said with a satisfied smile. Sometimes, one act of kindness can change everything. Treat people well, and you'll inspire the best in them. If you believe in compassion over cruelty, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories.